So that song was the first love song I ever wrote to God. I feel the joy. And in the silent breakthroughs, footsteps across my back, I can still be grateful. And that was written in my 20s. And I was obsessed with this code that Bach and Mendelssohn and other composers had used, where they had taken the alphabet and they had aligned it with a natural minor scale. And so I was writing songs based on words, and that song was based on the musicality of the word joy, which is what he's playing now. And at the time in my young life, I was deeply practicing metaphysics, and I had a spiritual path. And I didn't know, though, that I was going to have such a devotional practice as I got older. And so that song really surprised me when those lyrics showed up, and that I was saying thank you to God and how loved I felt by God. And along those same lines, at the time I was living in Los Angeles, and I was recording all this music in my little tiny bedroom in West Hollywood, walking distance from Whiskey A Go-Go, with my cute little gay Eastern European roommate, Igor. And that song actually came out during a time when I was like really heartbroken. I'd had this very like Hollywood romance, and we broke up. And so to write about joy in that time was really, really transformative for me. And that was part of my practice, right? And song was my first prayer. I wouldn't have named it that as a girl when I was doing all the living room concerts, right, with hairbrushes. But it really was the first thing that gave me a sense of something greater. I could open my mouth in song, and I could transcend or even express these things in me that I didn't have any other way to express. And so writing that song was really a key piece of my journey of when I look back, because that was a bunch of years ago. When I look back, and the world was on fire. It was right around the time of the towers coming down. And see these elements of my spirituality that I wasn't fully conscious of yet, right? And that to write a song about heartbreak and the world being on fire, that was really about my gratitude and my joy for knowing that I was loved by something greater. I was also, at the time, fairly newly introduced to metaphysics and manifesting. And I had some teachers that I would go to these weekend seminars, and they traveled around. They were part of this thing called the Growing Place Foundation. And they were teaching manifesting. And the way that they were teaching manifesting was, we would use like binaural beats and sound waves. And the way you prayed and the way that they taught was you were really sure, and you made a demand on the universe. You demanded, when you knew what you wanted, you demanded it in a certain brainwave state, and you made that demand on the universe, and that was how I learned. That was how I was introduced to metaphysics and manifesting.